Worcestershire captain Daryl Mitchell continued his excellent start to the new LV County Championship campaign by batting through the best part of 2 sessions of the opening day of his side's match with Kent at New Road, but there was still little to choose between the two teams at the end of the day. Conditions looked good for batting in, and that's exactly what Mitchell did after winning the toss, as he looked to carry on from his undefeated 172 in his team's drawn match with Hampshire last week. This was Kent's first game of the summer, and they had to wait until only the 7th over for their first success, with overseas bowler Doug Bollinger trapping Muck Pardo in front for duck with his 19th ball back in the county game. Bollinger last played in the Championship for Worcestershire 7 seasons ago, and he now found Moeen Ali in good touch. Ali has made a typically solid start to the LV County Championship summer, and he was able to play shots all around the wicket off the left-handed Australian, who opened up the Kent attack along with Robbie Joseph. On the Cathedral side of the ground there was a short boundary, and Ali made the most of that with a sweep for 6 off James Treadwell, who was brought into the attack early on in the piece. Ali scored 41 of the 46 runs in a second wicket partnership with Mitchell and appeared to be easing towards his second half century of the season. That was until, in the day's 19th over, he drove at Darren Stevens but missed and was bowled to end a sprightly innings which had used up only 37 balls. 19-year-old Tom Kohler-Cadmore has made a difficult start to his first-class career, and he was out 2 balls later, shouldering arms to Stevens and going LBW. That left Worcestershire wobbling a little on 59 for 3, but Alexei Kavesi, short on form over the last couple of years, came out with intent, and he ensured that the morning session was an even one, with a couple of well-timed boundaries, while Mitchell continued to bed in at the other end. With Mitchell increasing the tempo of his innings after the break, and Kavesi also going along nicely, Worcestershire appeared to be batting themselves into a good position, as this pair put on 92 runs for the 4th wicket, which carried the total to 151, Mitchell nearing another half-century. Kavesi beat him to it, getting to the 50 mark with a lofted shot off Treadwell. He'd needed 82 deliveries to get there and had struck 9 boundaries in what was a promising return to form for a batsman who was once being talked about as a future international. But from here, wickets fell at regular intervals. Kavesi was perhaps guilty of a bit of overconfidence as he flicked a ball from Joseph to Treadwell, who for once found himself out of the slip cordon. Then at last, Mitchell was dismissed to the 458th ball he'd faced in LV County Championship cricket this term. He looked to be really cross with himself when he nicked off to Joseph. He was out for 47. Ben Cox then dragged a ball from Joseph back onto his stumps to leave the home side on 158 for 6. And after Ross Whiteley had made his intentions clear by clearing the rope off Treadwell, it became 170 for 7 as Whiteley was bamboozled and bowled by Bollinger's well-disguised, much slower ball. Mitch Claydon then removed Shaikh Chowdhury just before the 200 was posted, Sam Billings with his second catch behind the stumps, and he soon had a third when Gareth Andrew edged a drive behind at 213 for 9. In the end, Worcestershire lost their last 7 wickets for 73 runs, Charlie Morris the last man to go with a feather behind off Treadwell, who will have been thrilled to have a wicket early this season. Worcestershire had been dismissed for 224, and they had 17 overs to try to make that worth a bit more with some late wickets in the day. The well-established Kent opening partnership of Sam North East and Rob Key appeared to be ensuring that this day was going to belong to their team, as they saw out the opening 10 overs in knocking off 31 runs of that total. But both batsmen were out before stumps were drawn. Both were LBW, Key to Chantry for 11, while North East fell victim to Chowdhury soon after the spinner was brought into the attack. The batsman had to go for 18. Daniel Bell-Drummond and Brendan Nash did survive the remaining 10 minutes, which means that, going into day 2, there is still little to choose between these two well-matched sides. Kent will resume on 39 for 2, which leaves them 185 runs adrift of their opponents.